Well, I wasn't going to do another video, but I couldn't help myself, could I? I get back to London on Tuesday evening, and I'm sure there's going to be an awful lot more rumours knocking around between now and then. It's Sunday in Greece. The time now is local time. It is what's 5? It's 7:30, so it's 5:30. Then I'm recording this on a Sunday evening. Latest news is that we're interested in signing Calvert-Lewin from Everton. His contract ends at the end of June, and apparently Graham Potter is an admirer of the striker, but I just genuinely do not believe it for 1 second. And here are the reasons why. Graham Potter has said quite clearly that what he wants to do is to reduce the average age of the West Ham United squad. Now, all right, Calvert-Lewin is not that old. He's only 28 years of age, and he's definitely younger than the strikers that we currently have on our books at West Ham, with Antonio 35 and Fulkrug at 32. But I don't think Calvert-Lewin is really. There's talk about, that there's a report that came out that said that Graham Potter is an admirer of Calvert-Lewin. Now, do you know what? It's going to be a bit of a rant, so I do apologise. There's one thing that really gets me about all the transfer rumours that are knocking around at the moment, and it's the flagrant crap that's knocked out there and pretending to be proper journalism. Now, proper journalism would mean that a journalist, a reputable journalist, would actually investigate the stories that were given. If someone comes to you and says, "Oh, I hear that this is going to happen, or so and so is going to be signed to this club," a proper journalist will try and investigate that and look to see how much element of truth there is in what they're told. Now, what's happening on social media at the moment, with a number of social media channels, including some West Ham ones, and if you watch the comments I make on Twitter and on Facebook and on YouTube, you'll know which ones I'm referring to. The problem is that what happens is that you get a story that goes out and it's quoted verbatim. No investigation, no looking into whether there's any element of truth in what these so-called journalists, reporters are told, and they put it out there as if it's gospel. They put it out there as if it's actual truth, and it's not. And the whole story about Calvert-Lewin is just that. There's no truth in it. Someone is speculating. Calvert-Lewin is out of contract. West Ham United are looking at a striker, and someone's put two and two together and gone, yeah, we're in for Calvert-Lewin. There's a number of reasons why I doubt very much we're going to sign Calvert-Lewin this coming summer. First of all, his age. All right, he's only 28, definitely younger than definitely younger than Antonio, as I said. Antonio's 35, and definitely younger than Fulkrug 32, and Calvert-Lewin is something like 28, coming up to 29, so definitely younger, but injury prone. There are three reasons. The first one is his age. The second one is his injury record. I think we've learned our lesson, haven't we, with regards to the players that we're trying to sign. We've had problems with Antonio throughout his whole career at West Ham United, consistently getting injured, and we've had to manage that effectively. And now we've got Fulkrug as well, who we signed for 27 million last summer, and he's had two major injuries, and he was out for like half of the season, give or take. And Calvert-Lewin, not only his age, but also his injury record, as the second point, is a massive concern. And I just don't think that West Ham United are going to be looking at signing Calvert-Lewin, given his consistent injury issues that he's got. And the third reason is his value, in terms of, all right, he's a free agent, but he's on about 100 grand a week. We're paying Antonio something like 90 grand a week. He's injury prone. We're paying Fulkrug about 95 grand a week. He's injury prone. Do you honestly think that we're going to go and sign Calvert-Lewin for 100 grand a week or more when we already know that he's injury prone? I don't believe it for a minute. And the problem I've got with social media is, as I've said, people put out stories as if it's fact, when there's usually not an awful lot of fact going on there. There's an awful lot of stuff that's got out there that seems to be put out as fact, but it's not. It's pure speculation. And the Calvert-Lewin one is pure speculation, and it's disappointing, to be honest. We get this constant negative vibe about West Ham, about all the transfers, about all the stories, etc. There's always a negative element to it. Now, Graham Potter has said that he wants to bring the average age of the squad down, but he also wants to reduce the size of the squad. That means he's got to be really careful as to who he signs. The last thing he's going to want to do is to sign a player that's old and a player that's injury prone. That doesn't help. If he's going to be signing players, in this squad that's going to be, already we've lost 8 players because of 6 are out of contract and 2 who are on loan who have now gone, that means we're down to, at this moment in time, about 15, 16 core players, and so if he wants to reduce the number of players in the squad, he's got to make damn sure that they've got a clean bill of health. Calvert-Lewin does not have a clean bill of health, and I doubt very much he's interested in signing that player. I think that the transfer window opens again on Monday. I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens. We keep getting the rhetoric of we've got to sell before we buy. We keep hearing about the various players that we're interested in, but we can't move until we sell any of our own players. It's going to be interesting to see what happens now. It's all gone a bit quiet with regards to players that are leaving West Ham United. Would I be worried? Would I be worried if we didn't sell the likes of Alvarez, Kudus, Paquetá, and players like that? I'm not sure that I would be. They're actually very good footballers. And maybe if we use them as a base and start to find younger players who can fit into the system that we've got, then maybe these players might be worth keeping hold of. We know we need a goalkeeper because Fabianski's gone. So we need to buy a goalkeeper, or we need to loan a goalkeeper. That's definite. Emerson, by all the rumours that are knocking around at the moment, is looking like he's on his way out. So we need to get in a left back. We need to get in a versatile full-back. Someone like Carl Walker-Peters that can fit in either on the right or on the left. We know that Potter wants to focus on strikers and midfielders. So if we add to what we already have, is that such a bad thing? I'm not sure that it is. So when I hear stories about Onyedika, Stasin, and various other young players in various positions, I look at it and go, and I find those stories a lot more believable than the stories about older players or the stories about injury-prone players. So the Calvert-Lewin story, to me, I think doesn't make any sense whatsoever. But the Onyedika stories, the Stasin stories, we won't get all of these young players. But if we're going for these sorts of players, then it makes an awful lot of sense. I think we need to keep the faith. I think we need to stop the rhetoric. Social media channels who report on West Ham United, I think we need to stop the rhetoric of this negativity, this constant bile of reporting. It's not even proper reporting, about going for older players, injury-prone players. I don't mind free players. I don't mind players coming on a freebie if they fit the system that Potter wants to adopt. But the negativity that's surrounding West Ham at this moment in time is really boring, to be honest with you. It's we don't need it. It's unnecessary. Let's focus on the positives rather than the negatives. This has been a bit of a rant. I'm really sorry. Yes, I've had a few to drink. I'm still on holiday, and I'm trying to keep away from it. But I keep reading the stories, coming out, and keep thinking, my God, Is there anything positive to talk about West Ham at this moment in time? The likes of Calvert-Lewin just wind the fan base up when there's nothing solid about that kind of reporting. Someone has made something up and then everyone's running off with it, suggesting that we're in for a player like that. I'd eat my hat if we signed Calvert-Lewin, but I bet you we don't.